In this video, we're going to cover variable expressions as inputs of functions. Okay, so what that means is that we're going to, inside the function where you see f of x, is like a 2x or an x minus 2, or you see other things as we go through these other problems. So what that means is that everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace it with, okay, so if the function is x squared minus 7, then f of 2x is going to be parentheses squared minus 7, and inside this parentheses, instead of writing an x, we're going to write a 2x. Okay. Now when you square two things inside here, you have a 2 and an x that's getting squared. Both becomes 4 and the x becomes x squared. So we get 4x squared minus 7. Okay. Let's look at this one. So it says in place of x, we're going to replace it with a x minus 2. Okay. So h of x minus 2. Everywhere I have an x, I'm going to put a parentheses. Okay, so on bottom I have a 2 times parentheses plus 1. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to replace it with x minus 2 in both cases. Okay, so this is where the x went. Instead I wrote parentheses and I wrote whatever's on the inside there. Okay, and we do have to clean it up. So that will become x, let's see, minus 2 and plus 6 becomes x plus 4. And then we distribute this to get 2x minus 4 plus 1. Okay, so that becomes x plus 4 in the numerator and 2x minus 3 in the denominator. Okay, all right, let's do this one. It says find g of 2n. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with a 2n. So g of 2n is equal to, let's put the 3's squared minus 1, so that's this function, but instead of x I put a parentheses and I write a 2n on the inside. Okay, so that gives me 3. If I square both things on the inside, that's 4, this is times, n squared minus 1. So that becomes 3 times 4 is 12, 12n squared minus 1. Okay, let's look at this one. So we're asked to find f of 4y. Okay, so everywhere in the function that I have an x, I'm going to put a parentheses. So 3 plus 2 times parentheses divided by negative 2 plus parentheses. And inside the parentheses, where I had the x's, I'm going to put 4y's. Okay, so that will give me, let's see, 3 plus 8y when I multiply, and then negative 2 plus 4y. Okay, let's take a look at this one. We're getting maybe a little bit harder on this one. So this time we're asked to put in an x minus 5 in place of x, but notice one of those places of x is getting squared. And since this is two terms, that's gonna require a little bit more work. Okay, so instead of negative 3x squared, it's negative 3 parentheses squared plus 2 instead of x parentheses, and I'll put an x minus 5 in both of those. Okay, now for this one, the x minus 5 needs to get squared. When you square it, remember, it's not just square the x and square the negative 5. That's not how you do it when there's two separate terms on the inside. You have to multiply it through. Okay, so this will be times x minus 5 times x minus 5 plus, let's go ahead and distribute this one because we can. So 2x minus 10 if you distribute the 2. So let's go ahead and distribute this all out. You might call it FOIL. Let's see, so we'll leave the 3 out front. That gives us x squared for x times x, and then x times negative 5, and then negative 5 times x, and then negative 5 times negative 5 is 25, plus 2x minus 10. All right, so these two become 10x, or negative 10x. Okay, and I'm going to distribute the negative 3, so I get negative 3x squared. The negative 3 times the negative 10x is 30x. And then the negative 3 times 25 is minus 10. Combine like terms for our last step. So you get negative 3x squared. 30x and 2x makes 32x. and then negative 75 and negative 10 make negative 85. Okay, so there's your answer for h of x minus 5. Okay, we're going to replace the x with a x plus 5. Okay, so that's going to be 7 divided by 3 times parentheses squared minus 2 parentheses. And then I'll put an x plus 5 in both of these. Okay, so that gives me 7 on top divided by 3 times x plus 5 times x plus 5. That's the square part. Minus 2x minus 10, kind of similar to the last one. And then if I multiply this through, I get, let's see, 7 on top, 3 on the outside, and this becomes x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25, close parentheses, minus 2x minus 10. Okay, so these two become 10x, and I'm running out of room here, so let me grab a little piece of paper so I can finish this problem. Okay, so let's see, we distribute, so on top we get a 7, distribute, so you get 3x squared. 3 times 10x is 30x. 3 times 25 is 75. Minus 2x minus 10, combine like terms. So you get 7 on top over 3x squared. These two together make 28x. And these two together make 65. Whoop, forgot the x, and 65. Okay, so here's your answer. Alright, let's do these last two. So in this one, we're putting in an x minus 3 in here. So this will become 4 times parentheses squared minus 5 parentheses. And inside the parentheses, I'm going to put an x minus 3. Okay, so that gives me 4 times x minus 3 times x minus 3 minus 5x plus 15. I'm distributing the negative 5 there. So this gives me 4 times x squared minus 3x minus 9, close parentheses, minus 5x plus 15. This becomes negative 6x. When I distribute the 4, I get 4x squared minus 4 times this one, and then plus 36 minus 5x plus 15. Combine like terms, we get 4x squared, 10x, and then these two make 51. Okay, and now for the last one. So I probably won't have enough room on this, so I'll do it on a separate sheet of paper. So we're going to be finding, let's see here, we have g of x minus 4. So that'll be negative 5 divided by 2 times x minus 4 squared plus 6. Okay, so that's going to be negative 5 on top, 2 times x minus 4 times x minus 4 plus 6. Okay, and then that gives us negative 5 times x squared minus 4x plus 16. That's distributing all this out, plus 6 on the outside. These two become negative 8x. So it's negative 5. Distribute the 2 here, so 2x squared minus 16x. That's this one times this one. And then plus 32 plus 6. Combine the like terms, which is only these two terms. So negative 5 on top, 2x squared minus 16x plus 38.